This is day number 2 on graphing coordinates, which are also known as ordered pairs. Why are they called ordered pairs? Because we're talking about a pair of numbers that are in alphabetical order, right? And normally we write our ordered pair or our coordinate like this with a comma separating the x value and the y value. So you could call them coordinates, you could call them ordered pairs. What are they really? They are just locations on the xy plane, all right? So when I say the coordinate 3, 5, that's really a location in quadrant 1 on the xy plane. 3 on the x, 5 on the y. So some of us are thinking, man, I've been doing coordinates for such a long time, since 7th grade. I know how to do this. This is boring. The truth is, we need to be all 100% masters at graphing coordinates. Because if you don't know how to graph coordinates, or if you make the occasional mistake on coordinates, you will not be successful at graphing. And that's what we're really going to build up to graph. So let's spend one more day on this. And this is just a quick review. Same notes, similar notes as yesterday. A coordinate, it's just a point. It's just a location on the xy plane, aka also known as ordered pair. Why? Because it's a pair of numbers that are in order. It's an x value and a y value. And it's written in parentheses with a comma between it. The x-axis is just a number line, and it's horizontal. It runs left to right. And we already know number lines. Zeros in the middle, 1, 2, 3. Going this way, it gets smaller. Less than's to the left, greater than's to the right. The y-axis is a vertical number line. It's up and down. We should have drawn this on yesterday's notes. But again, zeros in the middle. Positive going up, negative going down. So it's really just two number lines together. That's what a coordinate plane is. It's just the x-axis written together with the y-axis intersecting at the point 0, 0 and being perpendicular to each other. So the x is always running left to right. The y always points to the sky. The word origin is talking about the coordinate 0, 0. The word origin means the beginning, and that's very appropriate for this coordinate 0, 0 because that's where you begin to graph. So wherever you're graphing, whatever coordinate you want to get to, it's a great idea to start at the origin and then look at your x value and your y value and move on your x, move on your y. That way you could get to the point that you want. So also yesterday we mentioned that there's quadrants. This top quadrant, any coordinate up here in quadrant 1 will be a positive x and a positive y. Because that's the only way to get up to this quadrant. Positive on the x, positive on the y. So if you pick any point up here, tell me where to stop. Okay, right here. So that would be the coordinate 5, 6. Let me actually label it. Coordinate 5, 6. As you can see, both values are positive because it's in quadrant 1. 5 on the x, 6 on the y. And if we think about the 5 and the 6, that's where they meet, 5, 6. Now you could think of it like this as where they meet, or you could think of it as travel 5 on the x, 6 on the y, and that's how you get to coordinate 5, 6. But my point is, they're both positive because they're in quadrant 1. Any coordinate in quadrant 2 is going to have what kind of x? Is it going to be positive or negative if you're looking at the x? Negative on the x, positive on the y. That's right. So if I pick any point up here, like let's say this one right here, what is that coordinate right there, guys? That is a coordinate negative 4 on the x, positive 2 on the y. That's right. And as you can see, the x value is negative, the y value is positive. Any coordinate up here in quadrant 2 is going to have a negative x value and a positive y value. Any coordinate down here in quadrant 3, let me just pick one randomly. Let me go with this one right here. That's in quadrant 3. What would that coordinate be? Negative 1 on the x, negative 5 on the y. So yeah, as you can see, both x and y values are negative. Any coordinate in quadrant 3 will be negative. In quadrant 4, if I pick a point, let's say I pick this one right here. What's that coordinate right there? 6, that is 6, negative 2. Positive 6 on the x. Think about it. Positive 6 on the x, negative 2 on the y. As you can see, the x value is positive, the y value is negative. Any coordinate on quadrant 4 is going to be a positive x value and a negative y value. Okay, so just to recap here. Quadrant 1, it's going to have a positive x and a positive y. Quadrant 2 is going to have a negative x and a positive y. Quadrant 3 is going to have a negative x and a negative y. and quadrant 4 is going to have a positive x and a negative y. Anyway, we should know that. And let's move on to how to graph, because you really need to know how to graph coordinates, especially on the activities we're going to be doing today, the second day of graphing coordinates. So you start at the origin. If they want you to graph the coordinate 4, 2, you're going to go 4 on the x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 on the y, 1, 2. That's how you get to the coordinate 4, 2. Okay? So we have a little practice down here. Obviously, I just want you to, don't even write anything down. Just look at them and talk to a partner and share what those coordinates are. Okay? Go for it. I'm going to pause it here, talk to a partner, and then I'll ask you guys at random one at a time to give me the coordinate of each of those letters. Okay, ready or not, here we go. Donaldo, point A. Here's point A. How do I get there? What's my coordinate for point A? From the origin. Are you good? Oh, what did you say? 1 on the x, 2 on the y. Okay, now if you're thinking, but there's no numbers, I don't know. Yeah, you could just count, right? This way is positive, this way is negative. Zero's right here in the middle. Up is positive, down is negative. So to get to point A from the origin, positive 1 on the x, positive 2 on the y. So positive 1, positive 2. For point B, Davian.
2, negative 2.
Okay, 2 on the x, negative 2 on the y. Perfect. 2 on the x, negative 2 on the y. Okay. How about Aubria? Point C. How do I get to point C from the origin? Negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going in the negative direction 4 and positive 2. Going up 2. Correct. So that's negative 4, positive 2. All right. Sophia, how about point D? From the origin, negative 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Negative 4, negative 4. Okay. Caden, point E. From the origin.
Point E, negative 2.
Negative 2 and 1.
No,
Negative 2 and negative 1.
yeah.
Look, right here.
It's 0?
Negative 2.
Oh, yeah. It's because I'm looking at E and like.
Okay, so check out this dot. Check out this dot, Caden. I go negative 2. That's for my x, right? You always start with your x value. It's an ordered pair. Start with your x because x is before y. So you say negative 2, I'm here. Now, if you say positive 1, it goes up. If you say negative 1, it goes down for the second number. But you don't want to go up or down. You want to stay there. So you just say 0.
I was looking at E. I was looking at the dot.
Okay, so that is negative 2, 0. Jasmine, how about point F?
Negative 5.
Okay, so you're saying the first number you're telling me is negative 5. So you're telling me to go negative 5 out here.
0.
I want to get down here. Okay, so 0 is the first number because you don't go left or right. You stay there at the value of 0 on X and then negative 5 on F. Perfect. So that is 0, negative 5. So point G is probably the most confusing for some because it's not at a clean point. What do I mean by that? From the origin to get to point G, obviously you're going to go in the positive on X. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then halfway up, which would be 0.5, exactly. So 4, comma, 0.5. Or you could say 4 and then comma 1/2. It's up to you if you want to use a fraction or decimal to represent that halfway value, okay? So that's about it for the review. I really hope that we all understand how to graph x and y values, x and y coordinates on an xy coordinate plane. So what we're going to do right now in class is we have this little activity. It's actually a Halloween activity. I know it's kind of kindergartenish, I'm sorry, but you're going to go to these.
That's easy.
Guys, remember we're recording here. So we have all these coordinates and you're going to graph every single coordinate, right? And then after that, you're going to, so it says shape 1 right here. You graph all these points and you start connecting the dots from one point to another. Now they're not all clean points. This is 0, 0, the origin. This first one, or the second one is 1, comma, negative 1.5. So you got to be graphing the coordinates as you go, and then you connect all the dots on shape 1. And then after you connect all the dots on shape 1, then you go to shape 2. And I would connect one dot from one dot to the next, from that dot to the next, and so on and so on. You should develop some pretty huge shape up here. It's related to Halloween, right? It's a skeleton. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, that's what you need to figure out. And then you got shape 2 and shape 3. Those are tiny ones, shape 2 and shape 3. Do not connect the shapes themselves, right? Draw the shape, draw the shape, draw the shape. Don't actually connect shape 1 with shape 2 or shape 3. They're totally separate. All right, so that's what we're doing in class. Not for the whole class, just for 15 minutes, okay? If you don't finish, you do it at home. So I see that some of us are kind of struggling with this. Let me just explain what I expect you to do. You're going to take one coordinate, like this first coordinate, 0, 0, and graph it and then draw a line through it. So up here, you put a dot at 0, 0, and then you move on to the next coordinate. The next coordinate is 1, negative 1.5. So 1, negative 1.5, that's 1 on the x, negative 1.5 on the y. So 1, negative 1.5 is right here. And what you have to do is connect the dots as you go. All right? So once you connected that one from the first one to the second one, then you could cross out the second coordinate. And then you can move on to the third coordinate. 1.5 on the x, negative 3 on the y. 1.5 on the x, 1.5 on the x, you're here halfway, and then negative 3 on the y, it's right here. So 1.5 on the x, negative 3 on the y is right there, and then you connect the dots. So connect each dot as you go, and then you draw a line through the coordinate that you just connected. Now, once you keep doing this, like the next one's 2, negative 5, 2 on the x, negative 5 on the y. Let's put a dot right there. And of course, you connect the dots. Once you connect all the dots, once you have everything connected, you should have some type of shape up here that's related to Halloween, okay? If you don't, then you graphed wrong, and that means you need to work on graphing. So once 15 minutes pass, we're going to try battleship activity.